And now to Yemen, where the United States has intensified its covert war, launching new drone strikes believed to have killed at least one top al-Qaeda commander. The attacks had been largely halted while protesters took to the streets, and Yemen plunged closer to civil war. But now, with President Saleh recovering from injuries in Saudi Arabia, there are new fears that al-Qaeda will step into that power vacuum. I just spoke with Sudarsan Raghavan, African bureau chief for the Washington Post, who's actually in Sana'a, the capital of Yemen. Sudarsan, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Elliot.
So I gather that in the melee and in the chaos that is gripping Yemen right now, one nation that is not hesitating to step in to flex its muscles is the United States. It seems the United States is going in and increasing the number of drone attacks against Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. Am I reading this properly?
You're seeing Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, the Al-Qaeda's Yemen branch here, really taking an aggressive stance to really take advantage of the chaos that's happening in Yemen, and they're actually taking over areas in Yemen's west and south, especially in the Abyan, the southern Abyan province, which is a key stronghold of Al-Qaeda there.
It seems to me that one of the arguments that we have heard with regularity for the United States support of President Saleh is that he had given us permission to basically let the United States run military operations against Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. But if the opposition forces as well say, we will let you run those same operations even if President Saleh is gone, then does the United States care as much if, in fact, President Saleh stays in Saudi Arabia and never returns to Yemen?
I mean, that is a very important consideration, and the opposition here has stressed that to the United States, that if they were to come into power, if in any new regime after President Saleh, they would certainly be willing to be as aggressive against Al-Qaeda as President Saleh has been, and they would be a partner with the United States in stopping and preventing Al-Qaeda from targeting the United States and other parts of the West.
Having received this assurance from some of the opposition forces in Yemen, is the United States reconsidering what had been pretty firm and unilateral support for President Saleh? Are we modulating our position at all, and are we beginning to reach out more aggressively to the opposition, do you think?
Certainly the United States, the U.S. is speaking with all sides. You know, they have a couple months now. They have been trying to have a sort of a gradual, peaceful transfer of power. They've actively backed this proposal by the Gulf Cooperation Council, which is basically Yemen's neighbors, led by Saudi Arabia, who basically made a proposal in which President Saleh would hand over power officially hand over power to the vice president and step down, and the vice president would then create a transitional unity government which would run the country until elections can be held. And this, many believe, including the United States, many believe that is the best chance for a peaceful transfer of power.
Sudarsan, thank you so much for that report.
My pleasure.